Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lana if you're new, and today we are upcycling.
Sunshine, never mind, oh, bring me all of your gray skies. The moonlight never seems so bright.
For item number 1, we're going to fix these boring black sweatpants, and I'm going to do something so simple it's barely even noticeable. That's right, I'm going to add on an elastic at the ankles. I just don't like sweatpants without the little elastic at the bottom. It makes me feel like a slob, but with the elastic, it's slob chic at the very least. So I'm just beginning by flipping the pant legs inside out and sewing a hem, but not closing it off completely so that I still have a hole to put the elastic through. And how I'm going to measure this elastic is just snugly wrap it around my ankle. I'm making sure not to pull it too much, it's just relaxed, and I'm accounting for some loss of length later when I sew the ends together so I don't choke my ankle. And then I'm just going to use a safety pin on one end of the elastic to thread the elastic through the hem that I just made, because it was a lot of fabric and a short length of elastic. It was hard for me to hold the fabric without losing the elastic, so what I did was I pinned the end of the elastic in the sewing needle so that I wouldn't have to hold it. Life hack for you right there. And then at the end I just sew the ends of the elastic together, close up the hem, and voila! Less slobby sweatpants. Obviously this one was super easy and simple, so let's take it up a notch in the next one. For upcycle number 2, we're working on this velvet dress. At first glance, one might think that this dress is just fine. You know, it fits, there's nothing glaringly atrocious about it, and then you'll take note of this awful seam at the hip and realize that it is, in actuality, not fine, not one bit. This dress is definitely really out of style, really old-fashioned, definitely something that I wouldn't wear, and it breaks my heart to alter it because it is the absolute perfect length, but that seam is real ugly, dude, so I have to get rid of it, which will leave us with a mini dress. So the first thing we're going to do is just cut out that middle portion completely. It's gone, it's gone, and I'll be saving this fabric to make something else for a future video. I really like the purple velvet, so I didn't want to waste it. And now we have the skirt part. Flare skirts just are not my style at all. I don't like A-line skirts at all. There are so many people who look so good in A-line dresses, but for some reason I just don't feel like myself when I wear one. Therefore, we are cutting off all that extra fabric to get a bodycon fit. The fabric is stretchy, so I don't have to worry too much. Also, I'm a lawless heathen, so I just don't measure things out. Instead, I wrap the fabric around my body and just estimate. So I'm just going to draw a line with some chalk to know where to sew, and all I'm going to do is leave a little bit extra where my butt is. Of course, I can always try it on, take it off, and fix it as I go if I find the fit is weird. I don't really mind doing this, but some people might prefer to be more precise. And then once the fit is good, I'm going to close up that seam with a sealing stitch so that it doesn't fray. And with this top portion, I was actually considering keeping it as is, because it's kind of cute, but you know, it was destined to be a dress, so I decided to not mess with its fate. I'm just going to take a little bit off the sides so that I can fit the skirt and also hug my body a little better. And at this point I realized that I could just tug the sleeves down and wear it as an off-the-shoulder dress. It was a bit tight, so I released some of the stitches at the neckline, and this made for a much better fit. And then I sewed the top and bottom pieces together. And then came time to decide what I wanted to do with the sleeves. Should I keep it long, short, medium? The sleeves were a little bit loose, and because the dress wasn't meant to be worn as an off-the-shoulder dress, it was a little bit weird and floofy in the armpit area, which I didn't like, so I decided to cut off the entire sleeve, which kind of made me die inside a little bit because inside my heart, I have a Costco pizza-sized soft spot for long sleeve dresses. But ultimately, this was the right decision because this also got rid of the extra fabric at the armpit. I made sure to hem those raw edges, and voila! This is the final result. I feel like something about it just looks off to me. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's because I'm shaped like a fucking door, but I think I'd still wear it, which is more than I can say for the dress that we started with. And I'd like to see how I feel about it as part of a complete ensemble with shoes and accessories and all. Alright, for our third and final upcycle, we have yet another purple velvet dress. It just so happens that in my last upcycling video, I had a red satin dress that was just like this, so I really should have just learned my lesson and not bought another wrap dress because I know I hate the way they look on me, but in my defense, the dresses were bought within like a month of each other, and I'm realizing that's not much of a defense. Though I have since learned my lesson, and currently do not have any future plans to invest in another wrap dress. For this upcycle, I decided I was just going to do the exact same thing I did to that red dress, so if you saw that video, it might be a little bit repetitive. So for this top, the main component is just the bodice part, which is just a really long rectangle that I cut out from the skirt portion of the dress. I kept the hem from the bottom of the skirt so that I only had to hem one side. Now I'm gonna make the lace up front. I'm just gonna cut out some pieces of very long fabric. When you're Frankensteining old clothes to make new clothes, you might not always have the exact lengths that you need, so it's totally fine to sew 2 strips of fabric together if you know it's not gonna be long enough. It's fine, it's still cute, you know? So basically I'm just gonna sew these inside out and then flip them to get a very long string. And then what I'm going to do is insert these metal eyelets into the top. I find that a seam ripper is a great tool for making holes, except you have to be really careful. Otherwise you might tear it more than you intended, like me. But no worries, because I just sewed it up. It's barely even noticeable. It's like it didn't even happen. And after this part, I decided to go ahead and make 2 floofy, scrunchy sleeves. I don't think these sleeves really do that much in keeping the top up, but the added security is nice. As a small titty girl, I have never felt secure enough to wear strapless tops. There's nothing really holding it up except for a sense of reckless optimism, so I really like having some security with the sleeves. Making a couple of scrunchies is really simple. All you have to do is sew a rectangle of fabric inside out, flip it outwards, insert an elastic that is the length of the circumference of your upper arm, sew it shut, and boom, you got it. And then all I did was sew these scrunchies onto the side of the top. And usually I like to hand sew this part just for more precision. After that, I lace the string through and the top is basically done. So I only had silver grommets because when I bought them I was a silver jewelry gal, but I'm not really a silver jewelry gal anymore, and I don't really like mixing and matching hardware. I've become rather anal about wearing all gold or wearing all silver, so I wanted to cover up the silver eyelets in the case that I wanted to wear gold jewelry and not clash with my outfit. And how I did this was just cover them with some thread, and this took me like 2 hours, but it worked out, and I managed to achieve what I was going for. So yeah, now there's the final result. So with that, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, feel free to check out any of my other sewing videos, in which I am also a lawless heathen when it comes to measuring. You may like that, or you may hate it, but either way, consider subscribing. And that is all for now. Bye!
Sunshine, never mind. Bring me all of your gray skies. Love has new faces, but it's still the same. You may be the one, but it could be a game. It took me too long to realize, oh, that I'm stuck on the ground while you're up in the skies. Oh, sunshine, never mind. Bring me all your gray skies, yeah. The moon never seems so bright. Can't see the future, no, I can't see the past. The sunshine, can you make